Tambalite sete moya. Hey, jumbo jumbo, where your party always going? Oh, jambalaya, tambalite sete moya. Hey, jumbo jumbo.
Jumbo Jumbo.
The way we arrange is we typically multi-track everything. Jeff and I both know how to read and write music, but I think it's just easier to multi-track because that way there's nothing lost in translation. If you want it sung a certain way, obviously Jeff and I are the lower voices of the group, and we can only use our falsettos to portray the high notes, and these guys kind of have to listen to it and go,
I know what he means.
I think he meant
It translates.
this.
I have to listen to what they suggest and then go, well, I'm going to do it this way. Does that work?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it's like, not like that. Maybe more like this? Question mark? And then...
No.
But I think the overall sound and the overarching idea of our sound is just to make it complicated, but not too complicated.
I think the word
and
is interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, I think we're trying to make it interesting. We definitely try to approach a song like, okay, if we're going to sit down and arrange a new piece of music, a new song, we want to make it different than what people have heard before. There's a lot of a cappella groups out there that you can line up their arrangement with the original song right on top, and it will match up perfectly, note for note, beat for beat, all the way through, top to bottom. Our personal philosophy is that you can hear that already. What can we give you that's special and different and interesting? So we try to do that with our live show as well. We want to give you something that maybe you haven't seen before. So yeah, as far as the actual sound of the group is concerned, we've had several casts of singers, but this is my personal favorite one. I would say this is the best sound we've had.
This one has some of the strongest voices we've ever had. Except for you.
I know. In general, like I don't have any real I went to school as a performance major, and I essentially did that for 2 years and realized I was already making money doing what I loved. So I was like, well, let's just go ahead and put that off for a little while. So everything that I've learned is literally just the School of Hard Knocks, like I said earlier.
It's so funny because he has this stratospherically high voice, and right now it sounds like he was gargling road gravel.
Yeah, my allergies are acting up a little bit today down here in Florida. We've been gone for 10 weeks from the state, and now it's like
Well, this is the capital of sunshine and
exactly
allergies.
sunshine and pollen.
Yeah.
Well, the Sing Off is a reality television show.
Yes, it is a television show. They do a great job. It's a very supportive situation for the most part. There are a lot of reality shows out there that really get their ratings from how hard they can beat down the contestants publicly. The Sing Off, thankfully, is not one of those shows. That being said, it still is a television show, and they're writing their script as they go. The people who win, generally speaking, win.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I think he's asking us what was our personal
No, I'm getting
experience.
there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Yeah. The people who win, generally speaking, win, so that's good. I will say that it can be a frustrating experience to be on the other side of it, and because the producers can, what's the word? I don't want to say interfere.
Intervene.
But they will spin things a certain way. They'll push you in a direction that maybe you don't really want to go, but you go there because they're the producers and they're telling you.
Yeah,
to.
they have a creative.
They have a creative
They have
vision.
a creative input as to what they think is going to be the best for the show on you, and you have to find your way to diplomatically sort of be able to say, this is the direction we'd like to go, and we'd like to put a little of your idea into this. And I think all in all, it taught us to work under the gun. I think they helped us to learn what it's like to be in that environment and to work to do a lot of accomplishing tasks in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, there are always going to be hurdles in your way. So figuring out how to navigate around those while still maintaining what we stand for.
Absolutely, and that's the difficult thing. Our frustration mostly probably came from the fact that it wasn't a format that lent itself to a theater group, as we kind of find ourselves to be. You know, it's an a cappella group that has a theater show that tours the country, and that show is really about who's going to be the next record seller, you know, and can present a cappella music in that way. So we did our best, I think, to inject as much theater as we could into some of the bits, like funky music or
We did our best.
you know, but the format doesn't exactly play to us doing a 4-minute piece called Road Trip, you know,
it's
or
tough,
you know.
As far as the judges are concerned, the judges are great.
Great people.
Great, super great, lots of fun. They keep them very much separated from everybody else.
I think the person we got to know the most was the host, Nick Lachey.
Yeah, Nick was great, but they would just fly Nick in for the day of the taping.
Yeah,
and then he would fly back to L.A. or not, New York to do whatever he was doing in New York at the time. I think, in fact, Nick and Sean were on tour with the
That's what was going on at the
Boys to
time.
Men
Yeah.
and 98 Degrees.
There's
during
Boys to Men
the
98
taping.
Degrees, and I think it might have been New Kids on the Block too.
Oh, it could have been
last year, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we love the judges. If we got to hang out with them and get a beer, that would be amazing. But I don't.
It hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened
never
yet. Not yet. We're holding out hope.
I think they show them on the show kind of helping us very momentarily just through a tiny little section of one of the weeks that we did, and I think that was kind of the extent to the amount that we worked with them.
Mm-hmm.
I find like all of the judges to have been extreme, because they're all writers. So there's this sort of like, they really want to see you bring something that is almost spiritual out into your performance. And I think that Ben was the same way, while being very very much analytical and able to sort of distill down the things that he really likes about what you do, and helping you to know that that's a strength, or when to use it as a secret weapon versus to use it as a, you know, to overuse it. And I thought that was like, at least the feedback that I remember from him was very much like, you know what, this is kind of what you do. It's not what I expected, but these are the things that I like, and this is the way it made me feel. You know, versus some of the other ones who sort of maybe put the feeling up front, or only speak a little bit to that X factor sort of, you know, way that your performance makes them feel. He could kind of distill it down into very specific terms, and I personally appreciated that.
Right, and there's so much that he said that was brilliant.
Yeah.
That the audience never gets to see, because they have to, you know, it just go on and on and on, but they have to cut for time. So yeah, there's all kinds of gems that never made it to air, but I wish would have.
You know what? We got to go to 56 cities in a very short amount of time. That was one of the best things about the tour, because we got to be in front of so many people. But that was also one of the hardest things about the tour, because it was a very dense touring situation where it was a show, a different city every day. If you wanted to see something in that city other than the theater, you had to really be motivated and get there and do that. And I think I saw the San Diego Zoo as fast as anyone in the world. I think I set a record for how fast to see the San Diego Zoo.
You went from the monkeys to the hippos in literally
I got in
13 seconds. Yeah.
I got in my jog and the zoo at the same exact time is how I did that. And you know, so that like I said, that's simultaneously the best thing and probably the most challenging thing about the tour, is that you're in a city every single day, and it's a new time zone sometimes, and a new set of rules about taxis or Uber or walking, or you know, finding your food, or you know, it's
an adventure.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, and this was our second sing-off tour, and both were great. I think that we could have run into some real nightmares as far as production staff or touring partners, like which other group, whatever other group they decide to send out with us. But the first year with the Philharmonic and Home Free was incredible. What a great experience all the way around. And then this time with the Exchange and Street Corner Symphony was just as good, if not better, in a different way. You know, we never had an issue where, you know, personalities colliding. The production staff was phenomenal. I mean, everything was really great. I think what Ellie's saying would be the only drawback, which is just that it was just a punishing schedule. I mean, just like you get sleep when you can get it. The bus is rolling while you're asleep, so that makes it really hard.
Once you accept that and you're in sort of the schedule of it, though, I think it becomes easier then. You know, like it's a little bit of a shock. Well, I'll say it this way: it's a little bit of a shock when you start, and then when it's about to be over, you really are missing home at that point in time. But there's a lot of reward in there to offset the challenges, and that's what my personal experience was, and I think I speak for everyone in that way.
One of the things of being on the road is that you have to stay as healthy as possible, because if you get sick, there's no backup plan. So, you know, everybody has to stay super well hydrated. You have to sleep as much as you can, no matter what it takes. Allergy pills, eating healthy.
Know yourself.
Having a little bit of exercise. Yeah, knowing yourself, knowing what's going to get you through basically 60 dates of every day basically having a show.
It's interesting because we found ourselves in situations where we would do stretches of 10 days and then 16 days and 8 days. And the only time any of us actually felt slightly ragged or worn down was after the day off. You do 16 days in a row or you do 23 days in a row and you go, wow, let's just keep this going. And you take a day off and then the next day you try to sing and you sound like this. So it's just one of those things. It's interesting.
Well, I think as an a cappella group right now, in order to stick out, you have to have something special about you, and I think just singing arrangements and being awesome is part of it, but we want to do something special with it, and I think we want to take ours more theatrical, you know, maybe have a Broadway show or a destination show.
Hey, we're always searching for the next element or the next thing that's going to go within the show to make it a special experience. And I think that those experiential sort of pieces, like our road trip or our auditions bit, I think we'd like to see those things grow.
Those are two pieces that he didn't see, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We unfortunately, because of the layout of Mill City Nights and the situation that we were in that night, unfortunately, you didn't get to see those bits. But at every other show, almost, I think we performed those, or one of them, if not both. I think to expand the theatricality and the fun part of it, the humorous part of it, is something that's always a goal, while experimenting with internet content and new video styles and things like that. I think are always going to be part of the growth of VoicePlay and our brand.
We work through several different agencies. We're not exclusive with anybody. So she basically gets the phone calls or makes phone calls and handles all that stuff, so we don't have to. But and we pay her handsomely for it. But no, we're not represented by any agency as of yet.
We're self-managed and essentially self-repped at this point. You know, I think if there are people out there that have only seen us on YouTube, then you know they should really think about catching a show, because the show is the probably the larger experience. But if you've only seen a show, you should probably check YouTube, because you probably haven't seen the whole picture exactly. I think
They're
those two things are complementary, but they exist physically in two different
one
realms.
Enhances the other and whatnot.
And I think I'd encourage anyone to come and check that out and give us your comments. We're always have an attentive ear to the things that people want to see and hear, and I would encourage people to check that out.
Yeah, tell us what you want to hear, and we'll do this. No, I'm kidding.
And then we'll do what we want.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, we've done quite a few workshops in our day, and you know, we get to work with all age ranges, but I think we especially love the younger ones just because they want to learn and they want to do something like we do, or maybe something more interesting. Who knows? But
usually middle school and high school are probably where we find ourselves the most, and we've done things where we will go to the school and just perform a bit of our show and do more of an outreach where we talk about how we made this into a career. And then there's other things where we work more directly with choir students or a cappella groups that are in high school or middle school, and listen to what they do and kind of determine what the best feedback and assistance that we can give them, from musical things to stage presence to everything like that. And it's some of the most rewarding work that we've probably ever done. I think we all feel really good about it when when we hear from them later and say, hey, this really helped us, or that was a really cool idea that you had, for us, and we've really been putting that into effect, and that feels really good for us, and I think that it's good for everybody involved at that rate.
yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. I think we want to thank you too for having us. This is time out of your day and focusing us into places that we can talk about what we do, and we don't get that opportunity as much as you'd think, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.